Before you watch this video and you know your ability of accommodating the truth is not so quite good okay with you, just don't watch it. Number two, if you know you're an academician, you're so much education oriented, you're so emotional to it, then this is not a video for you. But if you're smart, you can be able to get the information that I'm about to share with you, hold it dear to yourself, and also be liberal thinker or liberal minded, an individual who actually understands what I'm trying to separate or what I'm trying to compare two truths. Number one, I'm going to give a disclaimer before I even start talking. Education is an important thing. I personally, I went to university. I went through all the systems of the education. But there is something I noted, and which, if I do not share with you, one day I'm going to be asked the question, Joseph, we gave you the platform to tell them the truth, but you didn't. Why? So it's today I'm going to share with you that what I have noticed. I've went through all the education system, and I know exactly what works, what doesn't work. The fact remains, education is good, is important, but there is something, if you hold it or if you view it from a point whereby it is the ultimate thing to the financial freedom, it is the ultimate key to your financial freedom, then you're going to be discouraged along the way. Am I saying you guys get out of the universities? No, stay there, it's the best place, but I'm going to give you the secret at the end of this video so that I tell you, if you're already in the education system, if you're already in university, what on top are you supposed to add so that at least life becomes easier for you as you graduate in this great country of ours. Let's get started. All right. So now, why am I saying that education is the biggest, or rather university is the biggest lie in Kenya? This is because back then when the university was starting up, we had most of the universities were never given the charter. So therefore, there were limited number of universities that were actually giving quality education. And whenever university says, hey, we offer education, they had the capability and the ability to actually provide the quality education with regard to that course and career that you're going to pursue. Right now, as we speak, we are talking over ups of 60s to 70s universities that you have in Kenya that they have the charter. Amazing. There's something good with that. Let's start with the bad news first. The bad news with this is that when you have a lot of universities offering the same thing, at the same time, you might surely, by default, you ought to have the quality because of the competition. But the fact remains, some of these universities are given the charter to provide a certain course. Some of them offer certain courses that are not actually up to par. They do not have what we call the required skills or the required, provisions in some of them offering that specific course. That's why you might find somebody who is going there to let's say to learn a particular career. They have never seen even that gadget. They have never even seen that device. They have never even seen that thing, and they expected to go to the job market to offer those skills pertaining to that specific thing. I don't want to mention the university here, but from the university where I was and the career that I did or the course that I did, there's some of the things or equipment that we never saw. I am telling you, my course was much of the, sort of a lab oriented, but I'm telling you, I spend more time on the classrooms or the lecture rooms as they call them, more than the lab. And my life, as far as that course is concerned, ought to be working in a lab setup. So what do I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. But the point is this: when you get out of the job market, now you're being, sort of paraded with some guys who actually went to a far much better equipped universities with better equips, so that at least they can be able to disseminate those services for them to make some cash. You know what? This is the idea that we were sold back then when we were young. We were told, make sure that you work hard, go to university, get yourself a good career, get a good course, go out there, get a job, get money. That's how life is. It's true. We respected all the process that we were told. But someone played along the way. After getting out of the university, there were no jobs. Or should I not say, no, there were jobs, but they were limited. Not everyone got the jobs. Now you are out there thinking like, hey, guess what? By default of me getting out, everything will fall into place. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to be good in my life and all those kind of things. So it's good I tell you the truth, how it is outside here and what you're supposed to do. Now, that was bad news. Or the good news is, or the good news when having a lot of universities that actually be chartered is that in a way, it's actually an income generating sort of an investment, because where those universities are actually placed, they help their communities. We have to have more non-teaching staffs. We have to have a lot of guys who are working the farms and all those kind of things. So it's sort of a create jobs. It solves like a today's problem, but what kind of a long-term goals does it solve? You see, these people, because all those guys are actually joining hands to make sure that they produce the best of the best in the society. Because honestly, universities should be perceived at the cream de la cream of any given society. Those are the guys who are being looked forward, wanted to make those decisive decisions in our lives, be it either doctors, engineers, architects, and what have you. Even teachers, okay, and psychologists and all those kind of guys. So non-teaching staff, the lectures, the lecture halls, the lecture rooms, the laboratories, all that thing is actually to encircle, to make sure that at least they produce the best out there. So those who are surrounding that thing, those who are covering up the students are getting paid. Their problem are being solved. But whose idea, or those guys whom are supposed to be catered for so that at least they get up to the society, they solve some of the problems that you are facing, they have not been taken care of. And that's why you find people complain of the government. The government has not provided us with enough jobs. The government has not given us what we call, hey, I'm graduated out of the university. I do not have an attachment that I was, internship that I was promised. I'm frustrated. And the point is this: can you imagine, since you are a small kid all the way to maybe say 25, let's say that's the time that you graduate, or 23, or whichever the time, you've been programmed for the last like 20 years, being told, hey, guess what? At the end of the year or at the end of your education, this is what you're supposed to do. So in most cases, you find most of the education system that you have, they kill talents. You cannot be able to do something. Let's say you can play football. Yes, nowhere you can be able to do exactly that, because the environment that we are, it really does not elevate that what we are able to do, but elevates on what they think that you are good to go. And by the way, the good news is that in Kenya, we have actually trying to transform from, sort of a theory-based kind of an education to curriculum, sort of a CBC and something. By the way, I am having greater hopes on that, and I'm looking forward to a point whereby that thing will actually be able to help our fellow siblings, or our fellow students, or our fellow kids, or our fellow whatever they are, all right? The point remains to be this: education in Kenya actually been taken from a point of commercialization to a point whereby you find university, they are offering a lot of crazy courses just in the name of attracting more students to their premises, so that at least they can be able to generate more than income. And then this university are now investing on these treasury bills, they're investing on the treasury bills and all those kind of things and what have you. There is nothing wrong with that, provided just do what you promised. You said that you're going to offer quality education. Do exactly that. You said you're going to offer this specific course. Be able to offer exactly. Some of the guys whom sometimes I call them and ask them, hey, guys, do you remember what you were taught in school? They can't even remember, because they cannot even relate exactly what they were taught. So the point is this: am I saying that education is bad in Kenya, or the university is bad in Kenya? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this: if you are going to university, or if you're already watching this video from a university, stay there. It's an amazing place. I respect it. I love it. But do this. On top of that, what you are learning in that specific university, try to add some other extra skills on top of that. Because even if you switch off from the university and go back home, you're going to still make your life even worse. Stay there. At least get the language, get the skills, get the communication, whatever, interact with the people, get the network and all those kind of things. It's amazing. But if you have this mentality of, it is the only thing that I'm looking for to solve all my problems in the future, you're going to get yourself into problems. And this issue of saying which is one is the marketable course and whatever, right now there is nothing like a marketable course. It's you to market yourself. We are all independent. I remember there was something I was learning in biology called the independent assortment. Even if we are twins, we are all created differently. We have different abilities, okay, and talents. So this is what I'm going to advise you to do, and this is what I did promise you at the beginning of this video. If you are in university, or if you're planning to go university, don't switch off. Go there. All right, make sure that you get the education. But on top of that, try to get other complementary skills. Complementary what? Skills. You can do your graphic design out there. If you can be able to make content. For example, let's say you're going to learn things to do with the mass education, mass media. I don't know, you're looking forward to be working in a TV. Come on, this issue of mainstream media is actually dying away. A lot of people nowadays are watching the social media thing. There are some people who have a whole TV on the YouTube. It's true. A lot of people. Have you ever seen these young guys who with microphones and cameras, using their phones and whatever, following these celebrities and recording them and posting those contents and what have you? And there you are still clinging to the idea of, hey, I get out of this university, I go and be employed in one big media house in Kenya, and then I'll be earning some cash. Right now, the media houses are not employing even new graduates. Media houses are employing the influencers, because they're after numbers. Because where there is attention, there is money. So if you can be able to capitalize on the attention, then you'll be able to make some cash. So the reality is this: if you're thinking of you becoming a media personality and you do not even have a YouTube channel, you don't even have a TikTok channel, you don't even have a Facebook page that is active, that you're posting news each and every time, then I don't know what the heck you're doing. You're supposed to make sure that you're out there. Let people know you. For example, Right now, if I ask a very simple question, who is good, Joseph? Probably there are some things that you can be able to tell. You see, nowadays the social medias is like our, sort of an open CV where anyone and everyone can actually learn about ourselves, where you talk about yourself. For example, on this channel of mine, I talk about investments, I talk about money, I talk about personal growth and development. So what does it mean? You've already known who is me. For example, if I just go to a job interview and I pull my social media account, I tell them, that's me. They can be able to gather all the information, my view, my perception, and all those kind of things. So what you're supposed to do is that, I always tell people, just be smart. Listen to where the world is heading. Right now, we are talking of technology. Right now, we are talking of artificial intelligence and all those kind of things. So if you cling to the old version way of view of things, it's going to be very rough for you on you. So what am I advising? What you're supposed to do is that add other supplementary things on top of that. If it's about coding, go ahead and do the coding. If it's about graphic design, go ahead and do that. If it's about creating content, go ahead and do that. If you're good at writer, you can write essays, you can write all those. If you're good at cooking, make some recipes, sell to people. If you're good at jogging, do exactly that. If you're, what we call keeping fit enthusiast, make content about that. People are trying their best to lose weight, talk about them. If you're good at kids, talk about kids. If you're good at teenagers, talk about that. If you went to university and learn about psychology, how you can help to resolve some of the conflict in our society, go make contents about that. You never know who is watching. That's how you advertise yourself. But if you cling to the old-fashioned way, you're gonna sit somewhere down, go to a cyber or maybe on your laptop or a computer, type an application letter, send them an email, then relax and waiting somewhere, we're gonna read your email or gonna read your application letter and call you a shortlist. I'm not saying it's not working. It is working, but you have to be a step further on top of that. Don't just view education or just view university is the ultimate. And by the way, have you ever asked yourself why those guys who never went to university, most of them, should I say, all right? Why are they so successful in life? And you find, like, for example, let me just give a very simple example. From my class where I was in high school, we were divided into three. We had the north, the south, and the east. North was regarded as the wisest. In terms of books, we were so smart. The head boy came from the class. Like, we had like seven, class prefects and what have you. So like the cream de la cream is the entire hope of that specific year was lying on that specific class, and I think the system is still retained. The south were kind of the medium one. The east were the jokers and non-serious people and those kind of things. I am telling you, the guys from the east were the first one to buy cars, to achieve the financial freedom, way from the north guys. Most of the north guys went to university. All right, me included. The fact remains, those guys, when you get out of the university, these guys, they just went everywhere and anywhere. The guys were in construction, they were in nowhere, they were in everywhere, and the guys were actually making something. And I came to realize, at the end of the day, the equation ends up with money. That's for a fact. Why? Because that guy from the east, they already know, like, hey, society don't expect much from them. So even if they try anything, however does it look like, nobody gonna judge them. But the guys from the north, they are perfectionists. They want to make everything look perfect. They want to, whenever they start something, they have to, make sure that it's perfect and all those kind of. There is nothing wrong with that. It's only that at that particular time, the sort of a system didn't actually favor us, but guess what? We are now coming up very well and everything is good. And I'm actually calling some of the guys from the north. They're telling us, hey, we are now good. We are fine. Everything is good now, is working. But anyway, the fact remains, the guys from the east, majority of them become a bit successful before the others. That's for a fact. Hey, am I saying that if you come from an unserious class by default you be successful? That's not the point. There's some people who got lost and they actually don't even know themselves and all those kind of things. The fact is, education is amazing. Every human being matters a lot, and it's good to make sure that at least complement whatever you are getting from that education, so that at least you remain competitive in this world that you're living. If you're the first time watching me, my name is Joseph. Talk about money and anything related to that. If you'd like to get a conversation with me, as far as the investment is concerned, grab my number from the description of this specific video. Let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.